The heart of Southport is still heavy with grief, and today, the presence of the Prince and Princess of Wales brought both solemnity and comfort to a community scarred by one of the darkest tragedies in recent memory. Prince William and Princess Catherine travelled to the town for a highly emotional visit, meeting with traumatized families and first responders who continue to live with the painful aftermath of the horrific knife attack in July 2024. Their journey was not merely a royal duty. It was a deliberate act of compassion, a signal that the Crown does not stand apart in moments of national sorrow, but walks directly into the heart of grief to bear witness and to listen. The attack, which shocked the entire nation, claimed the lives of 3 young girls, 9-year-old Alice Da Silva Aguiar, 6-year-old Bibi King, and 7-year-old Elsie Stankham. They had been attending a joyful Taylor Swift-themed dance class, a place meant for laughter and innocence, when violence descended without warning. The name of the attacker, 19-year-old Axel Rudakubana, has since been written into criminal history for what the judge at Liverpool Crown Court later described as sadistic murders, an act so brutal it drew comparisons to the darkest chapters of modern British crime. When the Prince and Princess of Wales first visited Southport in October 2024, only weeks after the tragedy, they were confronted with raw grief. Parents still clutched toys left behind, and the scent of flowers laid in makeshift memorials still lingered in the town's air. Today, many months later, their return carried a different weight. The shock has faded, but the grief has not. The community remains haunted by the loss of 3 young lives, and yet it has also been defined by resilience, by the way ordinary people pulled together to shield one another from despair. William and Catherine began their visit by meeting privately with the bereaved families. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken pain. For the parents, simply recounting memories of their daughters, small hands, favorite songs, dreams never to be realized, was like reopening wounds that had never closed. The Prince and Princess listened intently, not with platitudes, but with the steady presence of people who understood the weight of public loss. William, himself a father of 3, was visibly moved as he clasped the hand of one grieving father. Catherine, renowned for her empathetic touch, sat beside mothers who still struggled to comprehend how joy had been stolen from them so suddenly. These moments were private, but their significance resonated far beyond the room. For the families, being heard by the future King and Queen Consort of the United Kingdom provided a validation of their grief and a recognition that their daughters' names will not be forgotten. For the public, it underscored the role of the monarchy in embodying collective memory and compassion at times of profound national trauma. Later, the couple moved to a local community centre, where they were greeted by emergency responders, who had been among the first on the scene on that terrible day. These were men and women who had run into chaos, who had witnessed the unthinkable, and who have lived since then with memories that will not fade. Some spoke about the unbearable silence that followed the screams, others of the images etched forever into their minds. William, drawing on his own experiences as a former air ambulance pilot, spoke to them not only as a royal, but as someone who has also seen tragedy firsthand. His words carried a rare authenticity, reminding them that they were not alone in their invisible scars. Catherine, meanwhile, engaged with mental health practitioners, who have been working tirelessly to provide long-term support, ensuring that trauma does not quietly consume the lives of those who served so bravely. What stood out during the day was the balance between public and private. The cameras captured smiles, handshakes, and brief conversations, but the true essence of the visit lay in those unphotographed moments, the whispered consolations, the tears wiped away discreetly, the lingering embraces. Catherine in particular seemed deeply affected when a family shared a drawing made by one of the little girls before her death. She held the paper with extraordinary care, as though it were a relic of a saint, a tangible fragment of a stolen life. Southport itself has not been the same since July 2024. The town's rhythm, once marked by seaside tourism and the chatter of school children, has slowed into something quieter, more fragile. Shopkeepers still speak in hushed tones when the tragedy is mentioned. Teachers describe children who remain afraid to attend classes. Parents keep watchful eyes in public spaces, a vigilance born of fear. The Prince and Princess of Wales, by choosing to return, reminded the community that their pain has not been forgotten or overshadowed by other news. It was a powerful message. Grief is not a moment, it is a long journey, and the monarchy will walk part of that road with you. The symbolism of their presence also extended beyond Southport. At a time when the royal family itself has been navigating crises of health, reputation, and strained family dynamics, William and Catherine's visit projected stability. They did not arrive as celebrities for photographs, but as representatives of continuity and resilience. In their conduct, they carried the implicit promise that the monarchy remains a source of empathy in a fractured world. Perhaps the most striking aspect of the visit was the way Catherine engaged with the children of Southport. At a small gathering after their official meetings, she knelt down to talk with a group of youngsters who had been classmates of the victims. She listened as they spoke haltingly about their lost friends, and then she gently shared how Prince Louis, her youngest son, also loves collecting small treasures from nature, conkers, leaves, feathers. It was a tender effort to connect childhood joy with healing, to remind them that play and memory can coexist with grief. William, for his part, addressed the community more broadly, acknowledging the unbearable nature of the tragedy, but urging Southport to hold on to the unity it had discovered in its darkest hour. The strength of a community is measured in how it cares for one another, he said, his voice steady but edged with emotion. What we have seen here in Southport is the very best of that strength, even in the face of the worst imaginable pain. His words were met with silence first, then with quiet nods from those who knew exactly what he meant. For many, the visit also stirred reflections on Princess Diana, whose legacy of compassion continues to shadow her son. In William's empathy and Catherine's attentiveness, echoes of Diana's instinctive ability to comfort the grieving were unmistakable. It was as if the past and the present had converged, reminding Britain that the human heart of the monarchy endures through generations. As their day in Southport drew to a close, the Prince and Princess of Wales left behind more than sympathy. They left behind a renewed sense of solidarity, a reminder that the children's names, Alice, Bibi, and Elsie, will be carried not only by their families, but by the nation itself. Their loss is part of Britain's story now, and in acknowledging it, William and Catherine reinforced the monarchy's place as a keeper of memory and meaning. The tragedy in Southport cannot be undone, nor can the pain of those who live with its consequences. But through their presence, their silence, their words, and their compassion, the Prince and Princess of Wales offered a form of healing that no policy or verdict could provide. They stood as witnesses, as listeners, and as symbols of a nation's shared grief. The question that lingers is how Southport, and Britain, will continue to carry this loss in the years ahead. Healing will not come quickly, nor should it be expected to. But in the faces of William and Catherine, in their willingness to sit with pain rather than turn away from it, there is a lesson about resilience, about love, and about the quiet power of presence in times of unimaginable sorrow. And perhaps that is the true role of the modern monarchy, not to erase tragedy, but to acknowledge it, to dignify it, and to remind every community, however wounded, that they are not alone.